Oh, don't you fucking do this to me now. Fuck. I'm sorry if y'all heard me.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
You golden blank, staggered black, scarlet, blinkety black punk, are you trying to do? Of all that low, dirty...
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait!
11 seconds to get a shot off that could be remembered for the ages. To Massengill, 8 seconds. Jasmine to Edwards, a straightaway three. Good! It's good! 4 seconds to go! Dreana Edwards with a shot heard round the world puts Kentucky up 2. 4 seconds. Henderson spins. Henderson at half court won't get a shot off. Fairy tale dreams come true. 40 years in the making. The Kentucky Wildcats are champions of the Southeastern Conference. Are you kidding me?
Do you believe it?
Knew that right. I'm sorry. Dreana Edwards with the shot heard round the SEC, and later this hour we'll talk with Stacy Purcell of the Crazy Kentucky website Booster Club, and well, she's trying to get on now. All you gotta do is click the link, Stacy. She's trying to jump on now, and we will have her. Good morning, everybody. Snowman on the left. That's Cole Johnson on the right, the man in charge of
Cole Sport.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Two against everybody when it comes to sports talk. Two against everybody when it comes to sports talk, because I don't know, we actually tell the truth about what's going on, and that makes us pretty damn dangerous. It's a potluck Friday, it's a football Friday, and it's a 180-minute Friday because Mike Debate will join us at 10:05 with all the football happenings. But we begin with this. There will be baseball, damn it. A deal is in place, and opening day is set for April 7th. I don't know about you, but I'm going to celebrate. Opening day, and they get a full 162 game season. Both sides ratified it. Everybody get to camp. Everybody. Oh, may I borrow George Carlin here? I'm going to borrow George Carlin here. He did this in 1978. 2 minutes. Get your shit together. They got it together, and there will be baseball. I'm so happy I can't even breathe, because when the notification came through, look, y'all know me. I wrote this out right after the show. I wrote this schedule out right after the show. And then as I was working, what's up, Ben? As I was working, the notification came through that there was an agreement in place. I said, an agreement in place? What? And I said, this better not be clickbait, because I will cuss the rest of the day. It wasn't clickbait. Jeff Passan reported it, and there will be baseball, which means I'm begging every friend I know that's an MLB announcer, from Bob Carpenter to Dave Jagler to Charlie Slows to John Rooney to someone mutual to you and I, Robert Ford, to get in this program. I don't know how many I'll have throughout the course of the season, but there's baseball, damn it. There's baseball. I'm so excited. I'm hopping around like a 5-year-old. That's where we begin today. There's baseball. There's going to be lots. My wife hates baseball, and I totally get that. She said, you can have it. I'm going to have MLB TV. I'm going to subscribe to MLB radio because I'm a radio nerd. I'm a play-by-play radio nerd, and I'm always looking to better my game. But there's going to be baseball, man. There's going to be baseball. And Cole celebrated just as I did. And we both had the same thought. This better not be clickbait or we're going to ruffle some feathers. Nope. It's not clickbait. There will be baseball, and there will be a full 162-game season. And a suggestion that I thought after 2020 is going to come into play. Instead of a wild card game, it's a wild card series. I love that. More baseball.
Which now means that, well, definitely for this year, but probably for most years, now the season will extend into probably the first full week of November. Good.
Decide it on the field, man. Yeah. Decide it on the field.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. But I did find it exciting that actually it was a playing game, and of course it reminded us of, how funny when
I know where you're going.
When we dealt with a labor stoppage back in 1981, of course it was a strike instead of a lockout.
Yes,
and MLB decided to have the top two teams, one for the first half of the season, one the second half of the season. Whoever won the division or had the best record in each time period would meet in they met in a 3-game playoff.
Yeah, that was the miniseries.
Yeah, then it was called the miniseries, and actually that was the first time the divisional series was actually
born.
Really, 1981. Mm-hmm. And
because who the hell would forget Ray Burris and Bill Gullickson throwing for the Montreal Expos against Steve Carlton and the Philadelphia Phillies?
And what made that series in particular interesting was the year before the two teams were going at it all the way to the last weekend of the season.
Yes, sir.
And so people were thinking that was going to have a 1-game playoff, to decide the division champion then that year. And of course, the Phillies won out, and I think the Expos lost 2 or 3 that last series.
Yeah, they lost 2 or 3.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Astros and Dodgers, who the Astros had a 3-game lead when they went to LA, thinking all the Astros had to do was win 1 game in Dodger Stadium. They get swept.
Didn't.
No, they didn't. They get
swept.
And then they have a 1-game playoff. So it was interesting there. That was the first time I had a taste of 1 game to decide it all, and the loser gets eliminated.
And then, of course,
it's kind of exciting. I liked it.
Then, of course, there was 1978. Bucky bleeping Dent.
Yeah, and then 2 years before, probably the most famous 1-game playoff.
Bucky Dent hadn't done a damn thing all year. Bucky Dent hadn't done a damn thing all year.
Decided hit a 3-run homer in the top.
Decided in the 7th inning that sends the Yankees onward and upward. And until 2004, Boston was looking back on, damn, what? But then Dave Henderson rode to Boston's rescue in 1986 at Anaheim Stadium.
Yep.
And then here's a personal favorite for me, 2008 with the Twins and the White Sox, and no one expected the Twins and the White Sox to finish up top of the division. They lock up in a game 163, a 1-game playoff, and the only run of the game was scored by Jim Thome when he launched a mammoth home run to dead center field, and I think Carlos Gomez is still trying to chase that down, going, where'd that sumbitch go? So that was the only run of the game, and the White Sox won at 1-0. They lost in 4 to Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay was just all of that in 2008. So yeah,
so I was excited to have that, and then they decided to create that atmosphere with the play-in game.
Yes.
But I'm not all that upset that they've made that a wild card series. I'm actually glad about that.
They had the wild card series, like I said, in 2020.
Right. In 2020, that's what they did.
That was the feeling I wanted.
And I felt then when we did that, I was like, okay, I believe that's where they're going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know when, and it ended up being 2 years later.
Yep. So we have a wild card series. Mm-hmm. The top seed in each league will get a bye.
Right. And
the other 5 teams will the top 2 teams will get byes, and the other 4 will battle it out in each league. We're going to take a break because I have some unfinished business with some bronzesexuals.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I sent you the gem. Matter of fact, we're not going to take a break. I'm just going to say we are presented by Michael Scott Insurance.
All right.
And as I check everything here, I think Stacy's trying to get a hold. Like, now I can't hear you. Stacy, all you have to do is just click the link and you'll be in. I think she is. I'm checking everything now. Stacy's waiting in the back. Stacy, stand by. A little bit of business to take care of because I sent you a gem the other day. I can't help it.
In a world where partial greatness is celebrated and total greatness is shunned, there stands to be a figure on the lips of those who love him and those who hate him. The inane comparisons to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant continue and has existed since 2003. There is no end in sight, for the battle between those who unconditionally love and unconditionally hate him wages on. These are their stories. Welcome to the Bronzesexual Confessions.
I sent my partner a picture that had Gene Banks, Brad Sellers, Orlando Woolridge, and anyone who knows that's the Bulls team from 1986.
Right.
And then there was this caption, and I can't believe I'm going to repeat this caption, but it said, this is where I need a few of your elements in the future. Quote, LeBron would have taken this team to the finals. Close quote.
So because LeBron took duct tape of bubble gum to the finals of 2007, bronzesexuals think that inserted into that lineup, LeBron could take that team to the finals. Understand that Jordan was in his second season and not even a full season at that.
No, he missed 64 games.
Mm-hmm.
He missed 64 games, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and then after a few games to get his toes wet again, he does nothing in the playoffs except in the first 2 games, score 49 in game 1 and 63 in game 2. But I guess he sucked. You're going to enjoy Cole Sports on the Daily Wednesday. I will give you a preview right now. What I'm going to unveil is the Bronzesexual Handbook. And this goes right in line with it.
Can I borrow said Bronzesexual Handbook?
Oh,
can I borrow the handbook?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because these bronzesexuals don't know what the blankety blank bleep 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 they're talking about.
This is right.
I promise my children I wouldn't swear. I promised my wife I would. I'm going to clean everything up, folks. All right, just stick with me. I'm going to clean everything up. Considering we're on BS3 TV, we're on television every morning. But these blankety blank bleep bleep deleted expletive bronzexuals are stupid. You mean to tell me the team that took the best team into 2 overtimes on a Sunday afternoon in the Garden?
On their court, yeah.
In the Garden.
Mm-hmm.
That LeBron would have taken them to the finals.
Yeah. And if Boston didn't have the best backcourt, definitely in that era.
If Boston didn't have the best aura, who wanted to play in Boston Garden in April and beyond?
The best aura, the best backcourt, the best front court, and to me, the greatest team ever assembled that year.
85-86. 85-86.
I have often
said
this. I don't think there was any team. Yeah. And I have respect for many of the great teams, the 2017 Warriors, the 1996 Bulls. I have respect, 1972 Lakers. I have respect for all of those teams. I have not seen a team that was as stacked from top to bottom and played like a unit.
Agreed.
Like the 86 Celtics. Haven't seen
Agreed. Look at how they dismantled Milwaukee. Look at how they dismantled Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference Finals. They picked them apart.
And Milwaukee was not they weren't a chump team. They were
Milwaukee wasn't a slouch. Milwaukee goes 5 games with Julius Erving, Charles Barkley, and the 76ers. They look.
That's how good they were.
Milwaukee got picked apart. They got picked apart.
Yeah. And for the Bulls with a pro neophyte in Michael Jordan, putting a scare in that team, that tells you something.
And earning the respect of Larry Bird and company.
To have him say, I think I just saw God in sneakers, and his name is Michael Jordan. Come on. Really?
Listen, broadsexuals. Let me tell you something. LeBron has never been part of a team except for the Miami Heat, and he destroyed that by leaving that house empty, barren, and confused.
And in shambles.
In dead, solid shambles. If I were Dwayne Wade, I would end my friendship with him right there. Michael K., I'd release his ass today as a friend, okay? You came to my house and did that to me. I don't need you anymore. Cleveland got that twice. And just now they're rounding back into shape. Same with Miami.
And they better hope. They better pray that somebody in the Cavs front office doesn't either draft or sign Bronny, because LeBron might do it a third time.
Oh God. I mean, even with the scepter of Bronny James hanging over everybody, and people are going to hate me for saying this, but I don't care. I've seen Bronny play, and I'm not impressed. I wasn't impressed with his father, and I'm not impressed with the son. They got the same game. A chicken wing jumper, an inconsistent jumper, drive to the hole, slam one down. Everybody gets hyped over that play. Everybody wants to say, oh, he made the correct basketball play. The correct basketball play is putting the ball in a basket.
Especially if in that particular situation, you drive to the hole, you see the post defender, you driven by him. You're under his arm after he leapt. So all he would have to do basically is just to raise his arm up and just chunk it behind his back to have it kiss off the glass. But you could tell by his dribble. But you could tell by his dribble. Once he got into the paint, his mind already was made that he was going to pass it and kick it out to LaMelo. You saw it. I'm like, okay.
You saw it. You saw it in his eyes. There's no. What have we said for 20 years? There's no killer instinct in LeBron James. I'm sorry. Broadsexuals, you're just going to have to eat those words and eat this fact. There is no killer instinct in LeBron James. There's no killer instinct in Carmelo Anthony. I'm not even going to get started on Russell Westbrook. And the NBA's version of Mr. Glass, Anthony Davis, I'm sorry, but your prime is being wasted.
Well, unfortunately, with Russell Westbrook, he has a self-killer instinct. But
Mhm.
I mean, those are facts. Those are facts. When we got a chance to see in the figurative sense, when we got a chance to see killers such as Magic, killers such as Kareem, killers such as
Yes.
Bird, and then later
Preach.
on killers such as Jordan, and and actually I'll even throw Hakeem in there, and then
Mhm.
later Shaq and Kobe. What we saw, players who, when they smelled the blood
They went
circle in the
after it.
water, they went after it until the subject was done for. You look at LeBron, and that is not him. And many, not all, because one of your favorites, I believe, has that same killer instinct, but it comes in a different foreign package.
Mhm.
Many in this era take after him, many of them. But I'm so glad that we're starting to see a new crop that is taking after the Jordans and the Kobe's and the ones before, where they
Well,
just
we needed some killers. We need some players that play at least 3 years in college and get the, I don't know, foundation. Here's another F word, fundamentals, perhaps, maybe, kind of, sort of.
and that's key. People just want to brush that aside and think, well, okay, he's 16, 17, he can leap out the gym, he can run down the floor. Basically, he's and I'll make you smile, partner, in this. Basically, he's uh, um, an amateur version of James Worthy. I mean, yes, he's pro ready now. He's NBA ready
Mhm.
now, and they gloss over the fact that in college you can iron out a lot of the stuff that you don't necessarily get to iron out when you're in the pros the first 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah, Braun learned that the hard way, and he's still learning that lesson.
Yeah,
Oops.
I mean, because
This is what a lot of people don't get. What a lot of people don't get.
yeah,
Listen, I got no qualms with saying LeBron is a fabulous athlete.
I,
I've said it for 20 years. I
you've heard
question
me
his.
say, because
Hmm.
it's basketball acumen. You heard me say it Wednesday. I actually said, in the history of basketball, I have not, and I'll still stand by this. I have never seen a better athlete than LeBron James in the history of basketball, any
Same.
level.
Hmm.
I don't care. I don't care if it's high school, college. I don't care if it's N1. I don't care if it's G League. I don't care if it's the Harlem Globetrotters. I have never seen an athlete better than LeBron
Exactly.
James in basketball. Never seen it. But the basketball skills are lacking. And people look at us when we say this, and they think we have a third eye, or they think we have no brain. And the thing is, it's not that we have third eyes or lack brain matter. It's we have eyes. We see it. We see the
You
lack of
know,
fundamentals of the footwork. We see the bumbling with the dribbles. We see the
the
fact that he's a
bumbling with
bullet.
the feet.
We see the bull in the Chinese shop when he drives down the lane. We see the many opportunities, such as when he was in Houston, driving down the lane, having the opportunity. He blew by his man and got under the rim protector, where all he had to do was just simply reach up and flip the ball over his head. Instead, he decides to kick it
House
out.
in the house. Can I say it again?
Please.
Mouse in the house.
And not only mouse in the house, and you pass the rim protector too. So that is what I don't get. And
He had mouse in the house. He had mouse in the house all damn day.
yeah,
And this is not the first time I've seen it happen, and it won't be the last time I see it happen, especially when he joins Bronny. Oh, good Lord. I'll express that thought in a moment.
mm-hmm.
You're going to kick it out to Carmelo for a 30-footer that didn't even come close. How many times have we seen that this year? How many times have we seen that from him? Now, I am going to say something that's going to get a lot of men pissed off at me, but I'm going to say it anyway. Bronny, use the examples of the Ball family and get the hell away. Don't play with your father. Don't don't play on a team with your father, please, because all you're going to do is just expand the sight of mediocre basketball when you're not ready. Sorry. You're going to expand the sight of mediocre basketball when you're not ready. And this is nothing against Bronny. This is his formative years as a basketball player. This is his formative years as a basketball player. Let me say that again. This is his formative years as a basketball player. I'd look over every scholarship option that's coming your way, and I pick one. I'm not saying that he's not ready for the NBA. What I'm afraid of is the social aspect and how this could potentially crush Bronny.
Because most 18-year-olds aren't savvy and ready enough for that. Most of them aren't. I mean, you're not going to have a Moses Malone or a Kobe Bryant or Kevin Garnett with every high schooler that just decides to go straight into the pros, where they have the mentality of it's ball first, everything else comes secondary. You don't see that with most of them.
You don't.
You just don't. And many of them have to, and that's part of college. Many of them need to have the rinse of college to understand that, okay, well, when I get to the NBA, it's all business. Yeah, I can pull all the chicks I want when we're away from the
which would get you straight into more trouble.
Which it will.
All right. Which would get you straight into more trouble. Okay.
Which it will.
Beg your pardon. It would get you into more trouble. And this is my plea to Bronny James. Bronny, choose a scholarship and go. Just lock in with the coach that you choose. All right? Just go, I love you, Dad, but this is my development, not yours. Because what I feel is going to happen is that LeBron is going to live very vicariously through Bronny. Let me say that again, Bronsexuals. LeBron is going to live vicariously through Bronny by playing ball with him on the same team. He's not going to care about any other team member. And my next 3 words are as follows. Find the lie. Find the lie. See, and Cole's looking right now to find the lie in that statement. Find the lie.
That's what I really do not want to have happen. I don't want it to be where it's such the circus that,
and it's going to be,
that if that scenario were to happen and Bronny becomes an NBA player at 18 and LeBron joins him, and that we have this kumbaya moment where father and son play on the same team, and we get those moments where but probably SportsCenter will do breaking news in the midst of whatever coverage they have, just to show if Bronny scores a basket while LeBron's on the court. Then,
oh God.
Or vice versa.
Why'd you put that thought in my head?
Because damn it. That's what it would be.
Well, I know. That's exactly what it would be. Exactly what it would be.
And then once
which frightens the daylights out of me.
And what really alarms me further is that once LeBron hangs up and goes rise up in the sunset, they'll discard Bronny like trash.
Is it in a second?
That's what I don't want to happen.
In a second. That's why I'm begging with Bronny, pleading with Bronny. Look, go get your own. Okay?
Please.
Go get your own. All right? Go get your own foundation. Don't use your father's. Hell, I had to learn that when I went off to Northeast Missouri State.
Same here.
I went off to Northeast Missouri State to start my own foundation.
Yeah.
Okay?
And that is not a slight against your father, and definitely it's not a slight against mine.
No, In fact, they encouraged us to get our own.
Right.
I'll say it again. Brownie, you ain't going to get this encouragement from LBJ. We're encouraging you. Get your own foundation, man.
That's right. That's right. I mean, yeah. I mean, you have to, man. I mean, it's only going to go downhill from here in terms of
and all
you're going to be LeBron James's son. That is going to be what your stance.
That's it. And the moment, and I'll repeat this before we bring Stacey Purcell on to talk Kentucky basketball, the moment LeBron hangs it up, you're done. And I hate saying this, but it's true.
In a world where logic and sense flies completely out the window, while purple and yellow glasses are donned, rises a figure who encourages ridiculous, undying loyalty. Good Lord, I'm about to throw up. This has been yet another installment of The Bronsexual Confessions.
Now then, the shot heard round the SEC by one Drayona Edwards had me jumping up and down for joy because number one South Carolina went down. And a young lady said, "Hey, can we talk about that?" Here she is. Stacey Purcell joins me right now. Good morning, Stacey.
Hey, good morning.
Have you stopped jumping up and down yet from that shot from Drayona Edwards?
Not at all. The state of Kentucky, we're still on cloud nine. Still on cloud nine. BBN. We always show up and show out.
Well, the guys have a chance to repeat the feat as the SEC tournament gets underway this weekend. But that shot, Darren Hedrick provided the call, and I want to thank you for getting that piece to me. For those that were listening and or watching or both, listening to Darren's call and watching everything unfold, how did it feel to take down the number one team in the nation?
It's exhilarating. It's shocking. It's unbelievable. It's possible. Now, honestly, did I really think, okay, number one, South Carolina? I mean, South Carolina, I'm thinking, okay, maybe not this year. But the closer we got, and when it got down to those last seconds, and when Coach Elsie set up that play and Drianna come through, because basically they shut Ryan down. Queen Ryan Howard, crowned her.
Yes.
They shut her down, but they gave it to Drianna, and that is the shot of the year for Kentucky basketball. Now, the men might surprise us and give us another exhilarating game, but the women, they got it this year.
They do.
After 42 years, yes.
And I love Darren's call, fairy tale dreams come true. And this was a fairy tale shot for Drayona Edwards. And what I love, and I've said this on this program a lot, I love women's basketball. I've loved it since 1982 because you never know when a heroine will arise. And Drayona Edwards was that hero for Kentucky this past Sunday, firing that shot that sent the whole state of Kentucky into a frenzy.
Absolutely. I mean, I thought I would get a noise complaint from my landlord because I was yelling, screaming, pacing, walking, beating the floor. I mean, it was just unbelievable. I mean, when you think of Kentucky basketball, you automatically think of men's basketball. But the women, they showed us, they're like, you know what, just hold our beer. We got this. And so the state of Kentucky is on cloud nine with the women's basketball team, and we're so proud of them.
Stacey Purcell joining us here on the program live this morning. I've been wanting to get her on for a while, but our schedules never coincided until now. But man, they took two things away from South Carolina. Not only did they take that number one ranking because someone else is going to have it now, but the second thing, they took that overall number one seed away from South Carolina.
Right.
And South Carolina let their foot off the gas pedal, and that was all the Wildcats needed.
Absolutely. I mean, I think I'm not going to get into South Carolina's mindset of what they were thinking, but if you know you're the number one, not only the number one seed, but the number one team in the country.
Yes.
And you're thinking, okay, it's Kentucky. You know, it's like they've lost 10 in a row. Things aren't going too well. You know, let's just go at them, but just kind of ease up because we got this. Now, I'm not saying that's what they were thinking, but that's what I would be thinking.
Yeah.
But Kentucky went in thinking, you know what? Anything's possible. And we're going to play our hardest. What else do we have to lose? And so they proved that.
You play your hardest for 4 quarters. You play your hardest for 4. And this is what I love about women's basketball. And I wish the men would make the change from halves to quarters. Because you play quarters all your life. And then you get to men's college basketball and they play halves. I just wish they would play in quarters. And I love the fact that now for women's basketball, we can say the money period. And Dreonna Edwards had that money period moment, that fourth quarter moment where she lifted a team on her shoulders when their star was shut down for the final play. And you said it a moment ago, Stacey. Y'all hold on. I got this. And a 30-footer went splash.
I mean, exactly. It was clutch. Absolutely 1000%. And as that ball was sailing in the air the whole time, I'm like, okay, sweet 7-pound, 11-ounce baby Jesus. Let this go in. Give us a reason to celebrate in the state of Kentucky. Please give us a reason. And
yes.
You know what? Jesus came through. Thank you, Jesus. He came through.
And
so did that ball.
And the great part about it, no rim, all net.
Exactly. Splash. It was just nothing. I mean, it's just straight through. It was absolutely just the clutch play of the year.
Yes.
For me, in my opinion.
And everybody is still celebrating in the state of Kentucky, including the group that you had and I want to thank you for inviting the folks in your group on Facebook to view this interview. I will have this cut and put on the YouTube channel later. I mean, in the throes of selection weekend, everybody's going to be sitting on pins and needles wondering where Kentucky is going to be, but you put some fear in the top college basketball teams, and you have them, including North Carolina State, who I feel is going to get the overall number 1 seed now. You have them thinking, if they can do that to South Carolina, they can definitely do that to us.
Exactly. I mean, they don't call it March Madness for nothing.
Exactly.
Anything is possible in March Madness. And so I think Kentucky is going to go with the mindset of, you know what, we might not get the number 1 seed, but we're going to play like we're number 1.
And
that's the thing.
Yes, and Kentucky is in with that shot. It wasn't even a miracle shot. It was a set play. It was a great play, and Dreonna Edwards, in somewhat of a scramble drill, nailed a 30-footer that sent Kentucky into delirium. That's Stacey Purcell joining me here this morning to talk about the shot heard around the SEC and Dreonna Edwards and her shot that clinched the SEC title for the Kentucky Wildcats. We will follow the Cats, and I'll have Stacey on to give her take throughout the course of the tournament, and we'll follow them as far as they go. Stacey, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it. Have a great day, and God bless. Have a great day. Go Big Blue.
Go Big Blue. Thank you, Stacey.
Bye.
I mean, how can you not enjoy Dreonna Edwards and that shot? And I'll tell you what, she sent me Darren Hedrick's call, which I'll have on the podcast version later. I've had a few of those calls in my life, but man, every time it happens, You think you're 5 years old again, jumping up and down like a madman.
Yep.
All I have to mention to you is Vernon Maxwell, 1994, and Gene Peterson going off his rocker.
Oh,
John Paxson for me in 1991, and Jim Durham and Johnny Kerr going crazy. Juan Uribe with the final out in 2005.
Mhm.
John Rooney and the late Ed Farmer going nuts. When you have that moment and you watch that moment and you see that moment, man, please.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when those moments happen, how you doing, Sick?
What's up, Sick?
When you have those moments, man, you cherish it, and
You do.
and
You do.
and like you just reeled them off. No matter what you're going through, when things are happening, you could have things that happen to your team years or decades later, even where it just looks not so great. You flashback to those moments, and
we're all around the
feel-
country today. Arce
Yeah.
Sports joining us from Arizona.
What's up?
Possible landing spot for the Snow family. Man, continue, sir. I'm sorry. I'm just
Yeah,
excited with everybody that's tuning in.
That's fine. That's fine. No, you get transported back to that time and that moment. You mentioned the Maxwell shot Game 7 in 1994 NBA Finals.
Mhm.
Now I was sick as a dog, which was funny. Summer and being sick, that doesn't fly, but I was.
That doesn't. That doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. But I was sitting in my parents' den, and I remember getting as ballistic as I possibly could be, just like the 16,000+ in the Summit at that time.
Yes.
And I can, and it's funny, I could see the crowd go crazy, and I can hear him go crazy, and I can see Maxwell, rushed by John Starks, and he throws his fist in the air and he falls to the ground while his Rockets teammates just simply bombard him and hug him.
Mm-hmm.
But I kid you not, all I can hear is Gene Peterson just simply go, yeah! And I'm thinking, I'm happy for him and I'm happy with him, but I'm thinking, you have any oxygen left?
Hey,
I loved it.
Marquette Catholic 2014 for me. When we took #1 Bar Reeve to overtime, no one gave Marquette Catholic a shot in hell.
Mm-hmm.
And there we are with a full house at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. There were 2 shots in that game. One by Ryan Fazekas, who hit a baseline shot to tie the game at 57. Bar Reeve comes down, gets the lead, 60-57.
Mm-hmm.
Blazers come right back. And the next thing I see, you ever see someone put a shot in the air and you're like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
I see Javonte Peels with all kinds of confidence just lift a 25-footer and it splashed down, and I went crazy.
It's described.
I'm going, this is a team of destiny, man.
It's described best by Mike Holmgren, the former head coach of the Packers, and of course you know him quite well. He was one of those brilliant coordinators under the Walsh system of the 49ers.
Yes.
He many times he described Brett Favre's throws as no, yes.
Oh, here's a shot. Let's see. Michael Jordan running on fumes with 45 points. June 14th, 1998. I yelled myself weak.
And I didn't
have the words of Vin Scully.
And I didn't have the pleasure of hearing Tim Durham with that one. That was Bob Costas. And even with the more neutral call, it was kind of cool to hear him announce that moment too.
Yep.
Because the pro that he was, he let the moment breathe, and he gave you enough to understand where you were and what was happening and all that, and it didn't take away from the moment.
And Isaiah Thomas had the best comment. He said, at the end of the game, you have to get the ball out of his hands.
And he's right.
Utah made a mistake and they didn't get the ball out of his hands. It's just like, he's acting in the game. He's a killer. And Doug Collins, who coached Jordan for his first 3 years, brought up the perfect point when he said, this is the play that hurt because he scored so quickly.
Yeah.
MJ went right down the lane for points 42 and 43. And it's like it was building to a crescendo then. 19,000, 9/11 in the Delta Center going, no, he can't get us again. He can't get us again. We just stole one in Chicago. He can't get us again.
And what I loved about what I love about that play, people focus on the shot. I focus on the steal to set up the shot because I'm thinking to myself,
they surrounded Malone. They surrounded Malone in the post because it was a pick and roll, and the Bulls sent a Jim Durham. Thank you for this. Sent a posse after him. They sent a posse after him.
You would think a team that is as accomplished as the Bulls were, 5 rings already in the chest, and they pretty much had the Jazz's number. You would think they would have had the momentary lapse of, well, okay, we won't get this game, we'll get the next one since it's a game 7. No.
Oh hell no.
No, that is not how they operate.
What did Jim Rome say about a George Kittle play? Oh hell no. I don't need that. Sidney Crosby scoring the game-winning goal for Canada against the U.S. in overtime of the gold medal game of Vancouver 2010. Watched the whole thing and saw that moment happen. And from the late great Jack Buck, for that game, I said, "Pardon me while I stand up and applaud," because you're not going to get a better game than that. Brian Bickle, 2013 against Boston. Hawks down 2-1. Final minute. And then Bickle gets, and remember, the Blackhawks had 6 attackers, no goalie. So if any loose puck comes out past center ice, Boston's got a clincher. And we go to game 7 in Boston. Brian Bickle put it home with the 6th attacker, tied the game at 17 seconds later. They get the game winner. And we celebrate in Boston. I was on the L train when that happened. I was coming back toward my parents' house when that happened. And there were some guys on the train with me that weren't into hockey. I'm listening to the game, John Weidman's call on WGN. And I started jumping up and down, and people are like, what happened? And I unplugged my radio, and they listened to it with me, and we all celebrated the game winner on that ride out to 63rd Street. Man, I can think of several game winners in many sports.
No, I can't.
Sick. In many sports, in soccer, yeah, same, man. I mean, how can you not fall in love with a game winner or a play that set up the game winner? Do I have to mention the catch in 1981, or to be specific, January 10th, 1982? Do I have to mention the catch?
Well, I already told you how it was for me.
And
I told this privately, but publicly I'll say it. So my parents and I get invited to a family friend's house, and I lived in Houston at the time. So you have to understand there are many Cowboys fans in Houston, still are to this day, many Cowboys fans in Houston. I know. Houston rooting for something Dallas, yes, that oxymoron, but that's true.
Listen, it happens, okay?
Right. So we sit down, we look, and it's about 20 people in the house. For the session of my parents and me, everybody is rooting for the Cowboys.
Of course.
So of course, when the Cowboys were up, the house was loud and raucous, and the conversation was teeming. When the 49ers went up, the house was silent, and even small talk was done for. So of course, the Cowboys were 27-21, and people were feeling, okay, well,
They were feeling good about
They were
themselves.
feeling good. They didn't think the game was in hand, but they felt, okay, well, all the Cowboys need to do is just get a stop. We get the ball back. We're good to go. Just put it in the breadbasket. Tony Dorsett. We're on to Super Bowl 16 in Detroit. That's what they were thinking.
Mm-hmm.
The moment Dwight Clark caught that ball, it was silent. And mind you, the Cowboys were to receive the ball back.
Yeah, they were getting the ball back.
And even when Drew Pearson was just about a fingertip away from breaking a long pass go for touchdown.
Thank you, Eric Wright.
Yes, Eric Wright with the touchdown.
Thank you, Eric Wright.
Touchdown and championship saving tackle.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't as animated then. They were excited, but the excitement was tempered.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next play, White fumbles the ball, and
Jim Stuckey recovered. Jim Stuckey recovered
as soon as White let go of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
The house emptied.
Yeah,
like we were sitting at Texas Stadium, the house emptied,
and everybody left in droves. I got a moment. Excuse me a moment, folks. I got a moment. Oh, here you go. Game 6, 93 World Series. Touch them all, Joe. The late great Tom Cheek with that call. Touch them all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life. And you know what?
He was right.
He got the hero's send-off. Thank you, Joe Carter, for that. I mean, Toronto beat my White Sox to get to the World Series, but that's why they're the champ. That's why they were the champs.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly why they were the champs. You want to be the champs, you got to beat them. And they beat us in 6 games. I can dig that. We lost to a better team in the American League Championship Series. But what I will take from the 93 season, I was in the house when Bo Jackson hit that 3-run homer to put the Sox up 3-0 on the night we clinched the final American League West Division title. Because after that, they expanded
That's right.
They expanded to 3 divisions.
Yeah.
They expanded to 3 divisions after that.
Yeah.
Man, I was in the house that night, and when Bo Jackson hit that 3-run homer, I was up in the upper deck. Okay, I couldn't get my usual spot out in the bleachers.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the upper deck, raising all kinds of hell in fun.
Mm-hmm.
But he hit that 3-run homer, and we thought it was a pop-up. Because I was sitting way on the left side, sitting on the first base side. And then Jackson took a swing on 3-0, and we're like, whoa, don't do that. And it just kept carrying and carrying and carrying. And it finally got into the seats, and all 42,000 of us lost it.
I bet.
I don't even have to mention Scott Podsednik in 2005.
No, well, you definitely don't have to mention to me.
I don't have to mention Scott Podsednik in 2005, because who expected Scott Podsednik
of all bats
in that lineup? You know, Jermaine Dye, Carl Everett, Paul Konerko, and Konerko already delivered a big hit in Game 2 when he delivered the slam.
Mm-hmm.
He delivered the grand slam in the 7th inning. And then Jose Vizcaíno, I hate you to this day, and I mean that playfully, tied the game in the top of the 9th inning with a clutch hit. Clutch hit.
He is he's the quintessential definition of a baseball gnat, where it's like, okay, he doesn't have the bat that will hurt you think. And then he just hits a timely shot in places where nobody's fielding.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you MFer. Really? Yeah.
You just echoed my thought for that. And off of one of the premier closers in Bobby Jenks.
Yes.
Off of one of the premier closers in Bobby Jenks. We thought, okay, we're going to be up 2-0. And then Jose Vizcaíno, that little gnat that you can't get rid of, sit there, what? And we're just sitting there going, He did what? How? And then Uribe flies out. And then on a 2-1 pitch against Brad Lidge, another premier closer.
Right.
And Joe Buck set the whole thing up by saying, do you think, Mr. McCarver, that Lidge should have gotten into the game in Game 6 to get that taste out of his mouth of the Pujols home run?
Because
Tim McCarver goes, I don't think that taste is there. And what does Podsednik do on the next pitch?
The very next pitch. Mm-hmm. No, that taste was there.
And Brad Lidge just has to be going, forgive me, y'all. Ain't this a bitch? I just got rid of the Pujols home run. And now this.
That ball is still traveling.
It is. That ball's still rolling down 35th Street with all the signatures on it from the team, up the highway, rolling down Dan Ryan.
Oh my gosh.
And I think Joe Buck got more excited than John Rooney because I have both calls. I mean, when Podsednik hit it,
mm-hmm.
we originally thought, okay, double. He gets on base. There's a jackrabbit on the loose, and we can find a way to get him in.
Yeah.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
He said
left the yard.
That by himself. Yeah.
He left the yard. And we're going, huh? I mean, we're all yelling our brains out.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rowan's going crazy. Brian Anderson's going crazy. AJ Przinsky's going nuts.
Oh gosh. Don't remind me.
AJ Przinsky's going we all exploded. And you could just hear it in Joe Buck. Podsednik goes deep. And as he rounds third into a dog pile at home, and the White Sox win it 7-6. And we're just going, how did this just happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
am I right? We're just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
How?
Yeah, because sitting on the other end, you're thinking, well, it's not a heavy hitter.
Mm-hmm.
So, if he gets on, more than likely to be a walk or a hit, but it wouldn't be a homer.
Right. It shouldn't have been a home run. It shouldn't have been a home run.
Mm-mm. But that's exactly.
And all the Houston and all the Astro fans, and listen, that was a wonderful series. Even though it ended in a 4-game sweep, there was a 6-run difference in those 4 games. 6 runs between the two teams. That series could have gone either way.
Mm-hmm.
That was a series you were glued to the television for all 4 games.
Yeah.
And every Astro fan is going, how did this happen again on the Podsednik home run? On the Podsednik home run, we're going, what? How? And then there was 2019 with Jose Altuve. Jose Altuve, the Yankee killer of new.
That's why I will always love him. I will always
Jose
love
Jose Altuve is Bucky Dent.
Yeah. I will always love Jose Altuve because he gives Yankees fits. I love it.
Yeah, he does. Regular season or postseason.
Mm-hmm.
And you already know I have Robert Ford's call of Altuve's walk-off. Matter of fact, I have 2 of his calls of an Altuve walk-off. This past season against the Yankees, when the Astros were down 7-2.
Middle of the regular season, yeah.
Yeah, this regular season, down 7-2. And somehow they get 6 runs, and Altuve caps it with a 3-run bomb to win it.
Mm-hmm.
And I already mentioned Altuve's walk-off against the Yankees against Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The homer came against Aroldis Chapman. It's like, fireballer? No problem. I'll just jack one to left center.
Joe Buck went crazy. Robert Ford went crazy. And for those of you that watch YouTube a lot, I want you to look up Robert Ford. Type in Robert Ford and Jose Altuve's walk up. There's a video of my good friend Robert Ford
in the booth
going nuts. And that's if I get him back on this, when I get him back on this program, that will always be the call I use to bring him in. That's my favorite call from Robert Ford. Outside of the last out of the World Series in 2017, my favorite call from Robert Ford is that one.
Yeah.
Although I do have a second favorite. I have a second favorite, which was 2020 out in San Diego. Carlos Correa's walk-off against Tampa Bay in the LCS, in the ALCS.
That was a good call, too.
Robert Ford said, and Correa hits it in the air, pretty deep to center, sends back, Kiermaier at the wall. See you later and see you tomorrow. I couldn't believe it. I turned the radio on at that moment. I was in North Carolina. Turned the radio on at that moment when Robert Ford said, see you later and see you tomorrow. And I'm like, what? They're still alive? Yep. Within a whisper of erasing a 3-0 deficit and winning it. Within a whisper.
They came back from 3-0 and had a lead in Game 7. It's amazing to me. That series is something else.
Yeah, it was. I'll take a series like that anytime. I'll take a series like that anytime. Oh, rolling right along here on this fantastic Friday, special third hour with Mike Debate coming to talk football. And while we're waiting for Cool McCain to join, Ivan Dawkins comes in. Oh, I love it. The Okie Doke blog. I love it. I love it. He says, what's up, gentlemen? Grand Rising.
Up, Ivan?
Thank you, Ivan. Thank you, Ivan, so much. Thank you for everyone that is interactive with us. Man, got Chris Bass at the bottom of the hour, so he's going to bring it. Mike Debate at the top of hour 3. Quit singing! Wait, I'm telling him, look, I'm telling him to quit singing. When on a Bronzexual Wednesday, he mentioned the word joystick and an old song came to my head. There was actually a song called Joystick, and they allowed this on the radio often. They allowed this on the radio often. Had I known what I know then, what I know now, then bad enough, my sister would blast it all over the house.
That makes it even funnier.
It makes it. If I had known then what I know now about how socially unacceptable some words are, especially given the state of social media, I'd have taken full advantage of that.
Oh no.
I'd have taken full advantage of that. I would have. I'd have found some way to take full advantage of that.
The miscreants.
Oh, this is a great question. What are some of the biggest balks or errors that cost teams the game? I got one in mind already. Mets and Yankees some years back. Mets up 8-7.
Balks.
Alex Rodriguez pops it up. You think it would be a routine catch? Drop the ball. Teixeira scored the game winner. 9-8 was the final. And here is Cool McCain.
Cool.
With everything, with all the alarms going off. That's the alarm going off for Cool McCain to join us on the program. What's up, sir?
What's going on, good people?
It is a pleasure to hear you again, bro.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cole came up with Bronzexual. You came up with Wentsexual, which I love, by the way.
Wentz sexuals.
Yes, sir. They are directly related. I believe in most cases they are first cousins.
Oh my God. Okay, so you have to satisfy my curiosity here. So why would you say that Wentz sexuals are first cousins to Bronsexuals?
Have you seen them? Have you seen their responses when he gets traded to the Redskins?
So similar that it cannot be that they don't have the same genetic material flowing through their veins. Closely related genetic material, sir. Yes.
Man.
This is fantastic.
And the worst part about it, gentlemen, the worst part about it is these are people who claim, for the most part, who claim to be fans of my Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
So how on earth are you a fan of the Eagles, but the guy who's soft mentally, quit on the team, argued with players, told other injured players during the Super Bowl run that he was mad that we were winning without him?
Now that
how is that the guy that you want to taste his juices and embrace his manhood? How is that the guy?
Pow!
Now the point before
oh,
Wentz
mercy!
Now the point before Wentz was drinking Carson's Happy Juice. That's the point that sort of bothers me. The fact that Wentz was on this Super Bowl winning team, but he wasn't happy.
And he got PO'd
quarterback.
Yeah, that Nick Foles took him to a title and not him. You were injured, dude.
Yeah, that I find ridiculous.
So what? The other part that I don't understand, as an Eagles fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whose statue was outside the stadium? It's not Wentz's.
No, it's not.
The man who made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As a lot of fans refer to him, excuse my language, Big Ding Nick, in the circles of Philadelphia.
I've heard that. I have heard that. Yes.
But not him that we're talking about. We're talking about the guy who quit.
Yeah.
The guy who couldn't take challenge from a second round draft pick who was wrong.
Has now been exiled.
The guy who quit. Wow.
He did quit. He did quit.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying that's just cold.
And that's the guy that you want to receive your pleasure from. That's the guy.
You see
that you want to laud as the god of football.
See, now Diggy's getting in on the fun. So this is worse than when T.O. was running his mouth with the Eagles? Yeah?
Yes.
But at least T.O. didn't quit.
But see, the
T.O. may have been running
everywhere.
But see, the thing,
T.O. ran his mouth everywhere. But one thing you didn't get from T.O. was quit. Okay?
But see,
that is very true.
But see, the thing is, if Wentz quits, wouldn't that upset Wentz sexuals? Because during the act, wouldn't he quit there too? I'm sorry.
Oh, he quit in Indianapolis. Because if he didn't quit in Indianapolis, and I know my wife is not going to like this fact, but she knows it to be true. If he didn't quit in Indianapolis, they wouldn't have laid 2 eggs at the end of the season.
One of them against the Jaguars. That is unforgivable.
If your best play as a quarterback is turn around and hand the ball off to the running back,
why didn't you keep doing it?
How valuable are you actually? Because you could put me, Snowman, you, or Cole, you back there and say turn around and hand the ball off 20, 30 times a game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the funny thing is, yeah, you're right. The funny thing is, that was what made the team successful. So when he decided not to turn around and hand the ball off 30 times to Jonathan Taylor in each of the last 2 games, he was responsible for those 2 L's.
Mm-hmm. He was all the way responsible for those 2 L's. And the bad part is, on the last game of the year, I talked to Matt Taylor, good friend of mine who's the voice of the Colts. The first thing I said to him, I said, we cannot lay an egg in the final game of the year in Jacksonville. He agreed.
Wonderful verbiage. That's exactly what Jacksonville.
He agreed. Okay? He agreed. The first drive of the game, Jacksonville marched down the field and punched the supposed 8th-rated defense in the nuts.
And
forget the mouth.
And the game wasn't in doubt.
And the game was over.
Was it a nut punch like Buddy Boeheim gave to the Florida State guy?
Worse. And Buddy Boeheim, congratulations. You just played yourself and cost your team a spot in the tournament, doggone it.
Yes, you did.
Dummy. Straight dummy.
Had he been out there with them last night, they would have won.
They probably would have beat Duke. Yeah.
They would have beaten Duke. They would have beaten Duke with no problem. All right. Let's shift gears. How about Harden sexuals? Oh, that didn't sound right at all.
Well,
how about we just
get real on them and we just call them Harden hoes, because that's what they really are.
I can dig that.
Look, I don't want to talk about the beer brigade anymore.
Why not?
Because the narrative is the same. I mean,
I can dig that.
He is absolutely wonderful in the regular season, and most regular season games. Wonderful. You look at him, and it's like, this is an MVP candidate. And then we had games like last night.
What do I always say to you, Cole? And then that happened.
Mm-hmm. And then the disappearing tricks begin.
So what did I say? It's a clip on my YouTube page. What did I say to Joel Embiid? I'd run like hell.
We knew it.
So
James Harden. We knew it was coming.
So cool. My thought to you is this, man. So Harden's on the team. He's on the Sixers, but you pretty much know he's going to give you these types of performances. Is the fan base excited that the possibility of the Sixers making it to the finals is there, or they think in the back of their mind, oh, this is Harden in big pressure moments. This game last night against a team that has the guy that we wanted to wholeheartedly boo.
I want to answer that, but I'll let the real play caller answer that first.
So I'll say this to it. So I know a lot of Sixers fans, right? Because obviously I'm not a Sixers fan, but I'm an Eagles fan. So, a lot of the same people. So
right. Yeah.
All I've heard is, James Harden, he's going to come in. Joel Embiid's going to be the MVP. James Harden's going to make him even better. And we're going to win the championship because now we've got the missing piece. Because we would have won the championship last year.
Hold up. Stop. Desist. Hold the phone. Stop. Penalty flag on the field with a challenge flag with it.
You are correct.
Harden is going to do what?
He's going to make
you better repeat. Make Embiid
better and help them win a championship.
See.
Okay, what in the vital blue, yellow-bellied, red-blooded hell were they eating, smoking, or drinking?
They're wishing.
Whatever it was, sir, it's some good stuff.
But it must be.
But the thing
it must be.
But the thing is, they're wishing. They're wishing because he can give you
now.
Yeah. Because he can give them 20. He can give them 28, 11, and 8. They're wishing. They're wishing that this could transport itself into the postseason because the point guard that they did have was scared to shoot. We all know Harden is not scared to shoot.
He's not scared to shoot. That's true. That's never can argue that.
I borrow from my esteemed partner Cole Johnson, who gave me this term first, so I'm going to use it proudly. Swapping problems. So now you got a guy that shoots too much and it's going to stunt the growth of Joel Embiid. You traded him for a guy that didn't want to shoot at all and stunted his own growth and the growth of the team. And in the middle of this pile is Doc Rivers, who's getting piled on and not in a good way.
Well, yeah. Those are
He's
all
getting
accurate statements that he's made.
he's getting piled on, and not in a good way. Oh, what a comment from Sick Diggy. I love it. I love it. Some players are built for the regular season while others excel in the playoff. It's 2 different games and 2 different times. Yeah.
Is. You're right, Sick.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you have to look at history, right? When you're looking at a player, when you're thinking about what he's going to do, you look back at the history of what he's done in the league so far. Right? That's what any logical person does.
Yeah, you know what? This is
back at the history of James Harden.
Mm-hmm.
He will give you a lot in the regular season, the games that don't matter, in the first few games on your team. That's what he does. But there comes a point where people figure out, because it's crazy, these other NBA players and stuff and coaches, they're all very intelligent individuals. So at some point they figure out what the 1-2 things you want to do is. And they say, okay, you've been there. We got a few games of tape on you with Philadelphia. We see kind of what you want to do there. We're not going to let you. Those are what the better teams do. Those are the moments. And who do you always play in the playoffs, gentlemen? Can y'all just refresh my mind, make sure I'm understanding correctly? What teams do you play in the playoffs? Are those normally your easier teams to beat, or are those normally more difficult teams?
It's normally the elite of the elite.
Wait. Do you play easier team in the playoffs? How do I answer this? Not no, but hell no.
Yeah, normally it's the elite of the elite.
It's the best of the best of the best.
Those are the teams that James Harden struggles against.
Exactly.
Point blank.
Exactly.
That's why he's not
do we have to mention? I'm gonna give Cole Johnson a big old smile on his face. Dare we mention 2017 Western Conference semifinals, games 5 and 6? And the reason I'm mentioning this is because Cole has mentioned it to me several times with these blankety blank deleted expletive bronzesexuals bringing up frivolous stats. These Harden hoes do the same thing, bringing up absolutely frivolous stats. And you know what? Thank you for the answer, Diggs. Absolutely not. Exactly. You really expect? I'll expand on that point. Do you really expect James Harden to show up against the Milwaukee Bucks? Do you really expect James Harden to show up in the playoffs against my Chicago Bulls? Do you really expect James Harden to show up against the Miami Heat? Hell no. I'm really hoping that Philadelphia falls to 5th. No, that Philadelphia falls to 4th, I beg your pardon.
4th.
Why? Yeah. Because the Boston Celtics will be waiting on their asses.
Mm.
That could be danger.
That could be. That's going to be. If it's 4 and 5.
Wish you love, wish you well, kiss and tell. Wish you well.
That's the butterfly.
Our song of the day brought to you by Cole Johnson. Today's show brought to you in part by Michael Scott Insurance. Give him a call at 810-985-3211 or follow him online at Michael Scott INS, a proud sponsor of Snowman in the Morning. We're live on BS3 TV as well as Arena Sportsnet, Real Wise Radio, and the On Tap Podcast Network. Wanted to get all that in before we completely go off the rails, and it's too late because we're already off the rails. Thank you, Trent Darby, Terrence Trent Darby, for that.
Oh my!
I mean, look, how the hell are you gonna? Why are they? You know what, Cole? I want you to close this with a ridiculous, statement that one Daryl Morey, who was in charge of the Philadelphia 76ers, and God only knows why.
Gosh, okay.
Would you bring up a statement that he said in comparison to the greatest that ever played the game? Would you bring that up, please?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I really don't want to do this.
I know.
Because it's so blasphemous.
It is blasphemous. It's quite blasphemous.
Gosh. All right. So This is right after the 2019 season when Harden, for the first year in 32 seasons, was a player that averaged 37 points in a season. And so he had to opine the following.
Oh, God.
I still can't believe I'm about to say this. Quote, "It's just factual that James Harden is a better scorer than Michael Jordan. You give James Harden the ball, and before you're giving up the ball, how many points do you generate? Which is how you should measure offense. James Harden is by far number one in NBA history." Close quote.
Daryl Morey, you stupid back-asswards idiot. You're going to actually make that comparison? You're actually going to say that aloud? Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm not even going to read this. I'm not even going to read this quote. I'm just going to look at it.
Gentlemen, these are the reasons that the 76ers will ever win anything. These are the reasons. Your talent evaluation process is below subpar, right?
Below, he said below subpar.
Below subpar.
Not subpar, below subpar.
I'm writing.
I love it. Cool. I love. You know, I'm going to borrow that. And I'm going to use it often.
I'm going to steal that one, man.
Because the New Jersey Nets, even though they beat the hell out of Philadelphia last night, are going to be below subpar and below the play-in line.
The disrespect you give the Nets, man, is hilarious.
Listen, I feel in speaking the truth. Speak ye the truth and shame the devil.
Oh my gosh.
Speak ye the truth and shame the devil. The New Jersey what the hell have the Nets done since they got to Brooklyn? I'll answer that. Not a blank thing.
They had a chance to celebrate Jay-Z bringing the Nets to Brooklyn.
And where's Jay-Z now?
Oh, Jay-Z decided to say peace out.
Jay-Z saw the experiment. Jay-Z saw the experiment wasn't working and said, "Adi the blank os."
I'm taking no trains to Barclays no more.
Look, I'm not coming to Barclays. I got nothing to do with Barclays. I'm out.
It's not The Rock.
It certainly isn't.
Oh,
I mean, look, the New Jersey Nets have not done a doggone thing since they got to Brooklyn. They built an arena that looks like rust, although I saw the process.
Right.
Oh, God, process. How come the Nets and the Sixers are the same team?
And
trust the bleeping process.
I want to get to your point that you mentioned about the below subpar. I love that.
Please do.
But the below the below subpar talent evaluation. The present president of basketball operations for the 76ers admitted when he was the general manager of the Rockets, quote, and I'm not making this up, quote, "I don't watch the product on the court."
Apparently he doesn't watch it. Apparently he doesn't watch it now.
Of course he doesn't.
Stupid
you
fool.
were in the position where you were supposed to evaluate the talent more than any other person on the whole team, in the whole organization. And you mean to tell me you don't watch the product on the court to see if the picks you make actually are worth a darn?
Oh, look at this. Sick Diggy's really getting in on the fun. Jay-Z walked away from the Nets like he was Craig David. Yep. Better believe that. Walked away like he was Craig David and didn't turn back. Listen, Jay-Z teamed up with a billionaire teamed up with a billionaire to bring the Nets from New Jersey to Brooklyn. They built what could be called a palace, but you got traffic all over the place, which is why I'm glad I don't live in New York.
Yeah. Right. Gridlock all over in Brooklyn. Yeah.
Have y'all, I know you guys have seen clips of Nets games.
Mm-hmm.
Why are the fans in the dark? literally and figuratively.
Well, you already know why he's in the dark.
Have you seen the lighting structure at the Barclays Center?
Look. You already know why they're in the dark. It's because with the games that aren't as big, they want to camouflage that Nets fan is not represented all that hard and well in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And with the big games, they can't camouflage it because half the people in the stands rooting for the team the Nets are playing against.
Yep. Yeah, I went to bed early last night. Okay. I went to bed early last night with all the ballyhoo that was going on. Oh, it's here. The game is here. I don't care. I ate my dinner. I took my medicine.
Basketball from Brooklyn, but it was not that game.
It was the ACC tournament. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. ACC tournament.
Hell yeah. And next year, cool, we're going to be in Greensboro covering that bad boy.
Let's get it.
We're going to get it.
I'm gonna give you a saying that one of my boys says, and feel free to use it. You ain't said nothing slick to a can of oil, bro.
That's it.
I haven't heard that in a minute.
You've said nothing valuable but a pile of money.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You've said nothing valuable but a pile of money.
Sick.
The Barclays Center. You know what? I love it. Let me put this comment up.
That is not a lie.
This is no lie. The Barclays Center is more lit up whenever you have a UFC or a WWF event taking place. You got that right.
It is.
I mean, the Meadowlands Arena was more lit up for the Nets than this dump.
Mm-hmm.
The Barclays Center is a dump. I hate to say it. How you get 18,000 people in there on a nightly basis, I will never understand or know. Listen, who the hell in Brooklyn knew about the Nets before they showed up?
Got to be location, brother. Location.
I'll repeat my question.
Location, brother.
I know we got baseball coming up, but this doesn't apply to Pitt. Well, yeah, it does. Let me try it. Let me try that again. Who the hell in Brooklyn knew about the Nets before they showed up? Who knew about the Brooklyn mess? And I will forever call them the Brooklyn mess before they showed up. Okay, and I got a better question. Why in the Vita Blue hell are still are people in Brooklyn going ballyhoo over the Brooklyn mess when they're not going to do anything? Location. Absolutely. That's why I retracted my statement that I was going to use about location, but it's the truth.
After all,
okay,
Kyrie got into Kevin Durant's ear, and when Durant wanted to play for the Knicks, said, "Nah, bro, we don't have to go with the Knicks. Their tradition's already established. Let's go to the other team in New York where the tradition isn't established. We can establish our own culture." Boy, was he right.
Golly. I think we lost. We lost Cool. But Cool, thanks for coming on.
You, yeah, thank you.
Oh man. I mean, I'm just sitting there going, why? See, people want to down Kevin Durant for making a grown man's decision, and I will continue to say this, to leave Russell Westbrook behind and join a real team.
Yeah.
Oops.
I'm sorry. I don't fault him for doing it.
Nor do I.
I don't fault him for doing it because you've had these moves happen. Mm-hmm. Mark Aguirre is one prime example. He was with the Mavericks, and the Mavericks they were climbing up the mountain. They ran into the Lakers, and he saw the writing on the wall that the Lakers were just too tough for the Mavericks to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
He had a better opportunity to be presented himself in Detroit, and of course, one of his boys, Isaiah Thomas, was there. He gets the opportunity, goes there, he wins 2 chips. I can't fault Aguirre for doing that.
Nor can I.
And it's the same thing that happened with Durant. Durant saw the handwriting on the wall and said, "Well, this is as far as we're going to go as a Thunder. I want to be on the team where I can get some chips." He gets 2 chips and 3 opportunities at the brass ring.
But why do they still down him? Why do they still down him and say he ruined the NBA? No, he just ruined your team's dreams, man.
This is why they say it. They say that Durant ruined the NBA, which I do not believe he did. They say he ruined the NBA because it supposedly was a competitive imbalance for him to sign as a free agent with the Warriors. Instead of either staying with the Thunder or going east or going with the Warriors competitor to try to unseat them. That they went with the team that won 73 games the year before he joined the squad, and then they were already made. They already won a championship without him, and so they ruined basketball because the competitive balance was just simply thrown askew when Durant became a Warrior.
My ass.
The Celtics.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, children and grandchildren, but
the Celtics.
My ass.
The Celtics in 1980 built a juggernaut of a team through free agency and draft picks. And I mean, McHale started for a team. Robert Parrish started for a team. Yes,
there you go.
Wallace. Yeah, he saw the Trailblazers were the Jailblazers. He got out of town there, went to Detroit. He gets his chip.
He beat it.
I'm sorry. When you have the atmosphere with fandom that says you're nothing unless you win a championship, what do you think players are going to eventually do? Because
they want to go to a place where they win a championship.
Because guaranteed, some of the handlers around these players are saying the exact same thing many of these fans are saying. The exact same thing.
The exact same thing. Thank you. The exact same thing. Just sent Chris Bates the link, which I forgot to do. And Bates is on the way. Man, why do people think fans like us are stupid? Why is the modern fan questioning our knowledge? I must have an answer to that. Why is the modern fan questioning our knowledge when it comes to the NBA, when it comes to sports?
Right, Sick.
Oh, this one's for you.
Right.
Clyde Drexler going home to Houston. He saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
After 12 years in Portland
and 2 championships,
coming up short twice. Coming up short twice, 1990 against Detroit, 1992 against the Bulls. And he went home to Houston.
Comes home, gets his chip. Yeah.
And he's validated. He won his title.
Yeah.
And remember, they were teammates before.
Yep.
Anybody remember Phi Slamma Jamma?
Yes, sir. 1983, baby. Yep.
And I loved watching that team.
They were awesome to watch.
I love watching that team.
Being 9 years old and seeing that squad, that was a dream.
The old Hofheinz Pavilion. Here's Chris Bass. What up, Bass?
Brothers, good morning. How you doing, Rain Man? Cole, how's it going?
We're doing good,
bro. It's going well. How's things going with you, man?
Man, I can't call it. Still walking the earth like Kane and Kung Fu.
There you go. There you go.
That's the refs I've heard.
Okay, I gotta ask Bass a question. He's from my hometown. What is your favorite pizza place? I have 4, but I gotta know because I got into a discussion with my wife about pizza, and I promised her a trip to Chicago, and there's a couple places I want to try. But what's yours?
Oh, that's a good question. I got a few. My heart will always be with Giordano's. Giordano's. When I was going to Kentwood in Hyde Park here in Chicago, down the street was a Giordano's restaurant. So when I had money, I would go there. I would go there for 2 days straight, get broke, go back to the cafeteria in high school. So it didn't last too long.
Get there, go broke.
He said go for 2 days
broke.
Straight, get
2
broke.
2 days straight, yeah. 2 days straight. I mean, I was living the life.
I laugh because I've done that.
Yeah.
I've done that. I earned a broadcast check from doing a couple of games. Like, I'm going to Giordano's to celebrate. Next thing you know, when's the next game? I need to get paid again.
Oh, man, look.
Oh, my gosh.
It was one of those things where, you're a teenager. I didn't have no job yet. I wasn't making, I couldn't,
Right.
I keep coming up with lint. outside my pocket. So I can't pay. Did I pay for this pizza with Lynn? Man, get the hell up out. I would got my ass kicked at 14 years old. So I was like, no. So I like 2 days of Giordano's if I had some money. And if I split with my cousin Alan or somebody else, would do that and then back to the cafeteria by Wednesday.
Yes.
So so that was going on. Home run in pizza is another one of my favorites.
There you go.
My mom and dad would take my sister and me. Now we would go to the one on West 31st Street. So we'd drive out there. See, back in the day, I know they still do it. It's called, we had par bake. So they bake half of it and you bake the rest when you get home. And that was a whole, it was lights out. It was ingenious. So we had that. Lou Malnati's is another one of my personal favorites.
Yes. Man.
And then
Lou Malnati's.
Oh man. I'm telling you, these deep dish places or just pizza in general is just lights out. And other one that I liked a lot was Pizzeria Uno.
Yes.
So my dad used to work with this lady at the funeral home when my dad was the manager. So she left and went to go work for Pizzeria Uno. My dad would come in, they reunite, and would pack this pizza with it was more sausage than anything. It was like a sausage. It was more like a sausage big ass sandwich.
Yep.
And it's like sausage and you can't say sausage. You gotta say sausage. I mean, that's the guy told me this years ago.
You gotta say
hey man, like Italian combo.
Yeah.
We get Italian beef, Italian sausage. I went to a mom and pop place years ago, and my man was in front of me, and the guy was like, "Oh, what do you want to order?" Yeah, let me get a combo with Italian sausage, Italian beef. Let me get some red sauce and some mozzarella and some sweet and hot peppers. And you take that bad boy and you put it in the oven for about 5 minutes. Extra wet. You dip it and then get it to me, and I'll eat the hell out of that shit. So I realized I was saying it wrong. I thought you said sausage.
Yes.
Sausage. Now you say sausage.
Sausage.
I was like, okay, I'll rock and roll with him.
And that's how I've been rolling since. When I covered games at Brother Rice for many, many years, and they would always have pizza for me. It's a cheese or sausage. Sausage. And I'm walking up to my broadcast perch with like 3 or 4 slices of sausage.
Oh, man, I'm proud of being from Houston, but you all are making me regret I didn't grow up in Chicago.
Man.
Oh my gosh.
Tom Westenfeld, who's a very dear friend of mine, television voice of Loyola, radio voice of Loyola for many years, invited me to be his fill-in for women's basketball at Loyola. So, and also the voice for Trinity International. So he invited me out and he said, I want you to meet me at Giordano's on Halstead Street, right off downtown. I said, what? Giordano's? He said, yeah, you're going to be my partner. I got to make sure I get the best out of you. Oh, hell yeah. Drove down with my friend Victor, and Victor dropped me off and he said, how long you need? Where am I at? Okay, I'll give you about an hour. And he took off. Tom and I are sitting there talking, and then the pizza comes out.
Oh man.
And Base, you know this. The pizza comes out. And once the pizza comes out, you're like, oh boy, how the hell am I gonna eat this entire thing?
Hey, look, man, I've tried and have done so. So no, man. Look, when you're raised on all this good food, you can't help but gain weight. I'm just saying, it's one of those things. I never met a skinny person that I know coming up in my life in this city that stays thin. If you were thin back in the day, you were on crack cocaine. I mean, it was just that simple.
Yes. Because some of the best food is in Chicago. That's how I got to be over 300 pounds, eating all that Chicago food. And look, Taste of Chicago back in the day had everything.
And look,
you would go to Dominic's and load up on tickets and make sure you had 2 pockets full of tickets in your shorts and had 2 more handsfuls because you wanted to taste and try everything.
I guess let me say this real quick. I want a topic to bring up because it's been heavy on my mind since I saw it. It's sports related. So, but you mentioned about the Taste Chicago. So I had to be about, again, maybe 13, 14 at the time. And I loved the Lakers. There's no offense to the Bulls. The Bulls used to suck wind. And so my adopted team was the Lakers, Kareem and Magic and everything else. So I would wear gold and purple or anything like that. I even got to the point where I got myself a yellow knee pad because Magic used to wear one.
Yeah.
My knee wasn't messed up. I just want to be like Magic.
Right.
So I go out with my mom, my family, and we go to Taste Chicago. And the late, great ABC 7 sportscaster, Tim Weigel, comes up to me. And Tim thought I was Magic Johnson. Now Magic is 6'9". I'm at the time like 5'10". I didn't realize that Tim Weigel was like, a little, he was short. I know he was short. So I'm like, Tim, I was like, Tim, you had to cover Magic. How the hell you think I'm Magic? And I can't look, dude. I mean, I was excited, but then I got pissed because you should know how tall Magic Johnson is. And then I realized how he was small. Right. Tim Weigel was a fantastic broadcaster and a great dude.
Yes.
He cussed his ass off. I used to work with him back in ABC. So yeah, back in the ABC, but oh my God. The stuff he said, man, I'm like, oh man, I gotta use that word. I mean, he was just
no,
really, he was. Some people just born to cuss.
And an inventive cursor, yeah.
Yes. Some people just captains of the industry when it comes to cussing, and Tim Weigel was one of them. God rest his soul. But,
oh my God!
So I met him as a kid. I'm like, dude, but he did do me a solid. He recorded me and then put me on the 10 o'clock news that night. So that was cool. I appreciate that. But we're like, you must be like 5 feet. The thing, I'm Magic Johnson at 5'10". My God, man. So
remember the Weigel wieners?
Look, man, the dude was Tim Weigel was one of those dudes that can combine sports and humor well.
Yes.
A lot of people can't do the two. They try. They come up with crickets, or I always used to say, come over like a fart in church because nothing hits.
Right.
So yeah, that's the situation that happened. So So Tim Weigel was the master of that comic and blending that with sports. So God rest his soul.
Yeah.
I know you guys have talked about it. This whole thing with Syracuse's coach Jim Weigel and his son.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my segment for this time is Syracuse's coach Jim Weigel. I'm sorry, Jim Weigel. Two people. Jim Boeheim needs new glasses.
All right, Base. Why does Jim Boeheim need
Jim Boeheim need new glasses?
First of all, let me demonstrate. Let me show you these glasses here. Now, these are nice frames. You may check them out.
Yes.
These are nice frames. Hell, I keep them for my damn self. Anyway, so these are nice frames. And you can change the prescription of and everything else, and it would give Jim Boeheim a good look. His son, Buddy, was taking a cheap shot, and did take a cheap shot, to Florida State's Wyatt Wilkes during the Wednesday ACC tournament opener. After the game, the conference announced it was going to suspend Buddy Boeheim for 1 game. At the presser, after the game, Coach Boeheim said it was inadvertent. And there was a reporter in the presser saying, look, Coach, this viral right now of your son hitting this guy, I call the guttock, him in the guttock, and, it's going viral, and what do you think about that? And so pretty much Jim Boeheim just ignored it. He played it off. And I have to disagree with you, but let's call it for what it is. I understand about a parent want to protect their child or son or daughter. I understand that.
Yeah,
but it reminds me of the bit that Eddie Murphy did for Raw. The bit where he talks about getting busted, having sex with another woman. And then the girlfriend walks in and sees him butt booty hole naked, doing the mattress mambo, right? And then the woman walks out, he runs out rock hard with holding her hand. Now, stop, don't go nowhere. Stop. Now, yes, I effed her, but I make love to you. Exactly. Now, going back to the videotape that we saw with Buddy Boeheim, The guy literally, boom, hits
He
him right in the
wound. He
guttock.
wound up. He wound up and hit him.
Right. Yeah. And then boom, right in the guttock. And then looked at him like, yeah, I hit you in the guttock, so what? And then kept on running down the court.
He wound up and hit him.
Come on.
Okay, my glasses are full of scratches, but I could see that. Hell, Stevie Wonder could see that. He wound up and hit him.
Sleeping Stevie Wonder could see that.
Mm-hmm. So
Ray
he was
Charles,
rightfully suspended.
Ray Charles, in the state he's in right now, can see that.
For those who don't know, that state is dead.
Thank you.
Yes. And has been dead for a long time.
God rest the legend, but he's taking a dirt nap. So
that's one of the first terms that Chris Bass ever taught me. Dirt nap.
Dirt nap.
And we were talking about somebody, we were prepping for a show, and all of a sudden I hear Bass say, he's probably taking a dirt nap. What? And then I had to think about it. Like, oh yeah. Dirt nap.
Yes. You see, dirt nap. Yeah,
we need a few people to take a dirt nap right now.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I won't get into all that, but
me neither. I will just leave that statement where it is, and we will walk forward and move on. Okay.
Yeah. The key thing is getting these glasses for Coach Boeheim is the fact that you cannot dismiss the obvious. I know he's your son, and maybe your son did this crap before, and just never had to be put to the table with it.
Yeah.
So you're protecting a wrong. You may have children in your life that you love them tremendously, but they're arch criminals.
Yep.
They may steal your dirty drawers while you're before you take a shower. Hey man, where my drawers at? Junior! And the Junior was there taking your drawers, skid marks and all, because Junior is a thief.
Criminals. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
That's
Junior
a term I haven't heard in a long time. Oh my
gosh.
It doesn't make any sense. Right. So Jim Boeheim should walk in his truth, realize that his son buddy is a thug and a punk, and he needs to take the time off. So he's lucky he got suspended for
he needed the time off.
Yeah.
He needs the time off. He needs to not play should Syracuse get to the main tournament. He needs to not play for a couple of games, however far they go.
I mean, you saw what look, I'm sorry, please go ahead.
Because if you're going to take that same approach with Juwan Howard, and I'll touch that in a moment, then you need to take the same with Buddy Boeheim.
Look,
be fair, NCAA.
Coach Howard from Michigan went upside. This was go classic go upside the head. He went upside the head of the coach's assistant. He went upside the head and then did this.
Mm-hmm.
Like you lucky you didn't get this.
Right.
It's like slap. You could have got the fist doctor. So
yes,
he took his time, was spending for the games, and I applaud Michigan for keep on advancing and winning the games to get to the tournament, because I think they were already hot for what happened, and they learned from the experience. They want to make sure they do their coaches proud, and they did. For Juwan Howard, so he comes back to coach. But in this situation with Coach Boeheim, it's just sad that you would sit there and lie to the press and to the world, and once again, video. It don't
video
matter.
Evidence is right there.
Video
evidence is right there. Yeah. And I borrow again from Eddie Murphy Raw. Wasn't me. What?
Right. Yeah, but it's your son. It's your son,
it's
buddy.
Right there.
It's like, let me see. No, we spell our last names differently.
Yeah,
it's not my son. And my boy. But that's sad, though. No, it really is. And so, not only that, as a father and son, as a coach of young men, what kind of example are you setting for this?
And you're in the twilight of your career, and you're setting this kind of example.
Well, it's obviously Coach Boeheim belongs to the law firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe.
Yes. Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe.
That's right.
And that's one of the cheatingest law firms you'll ever run into, folks.
Oh yeah.
I've seen it many times over.
They will screw you 6 days to Sunday.
Yeah. And on the seventh day, they'll do it even worse. What does the world come to?
What is it? A kleptomaniac child stealing a parent's dirty boxer
out
of
the hamper.
Look, I'm telling you. Look, I make it up. I'm sure there's parents out there who had their draws taken.
Yep.
It's embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing.
Popeye would say, the Popeye the Sailor back in the day. It's embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, right? Because you have bare skin when somebody took your draws.
When someone took your draws.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's something you just can't admit to your friends or your family. It's like, hey, Fred, how you feeling? Man, I ain't doing too good, man. Well, what's wrong, man? Why you so glum? Junior done stole my draws. Now, who wants to admit that? If you're Fred, you might as well say, I'll lie and say you stole the car. That sounds better.
I mean,
from a robber perspective, not somebody stole.
Junior done stole my draws.
Somebody stole my draws. Somebody stole my draws. Okay, that's one you don't want. That's one you don't want to admit out loud. It's like Bass. It's when we talked about the Salt Bastard holiday party, and I'll never forget Bass describing this. He says, if your ass is locked up and you're in the pen and you're among your thieving brethren, and you admit out loud, I stole some rock salt. And Bass's next line had me cracking up for the rest of the hour when he said, quote, they will ass rape you on sight.
Yes, they will.
Close quote. Which they will.
Which they'll do it anyway.
They will. Yeah. You just give them. You just giving them a bigger reason.
On site.
You're just giving them a bigger reason.
They go wait till locks out. They go wait till lights out or locks up. Cole, I'm telling you, rape him on site.
On site.
I mean, doesn't matter what object is in place. Doesn't matter what the hell's in the way. Doesn't matter if anybody's watching. Doesn't matter if police is the police officers or the security guards when the thing. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You're going to get a show for stealing rock salt and for being stupid enough to steal rock salt. That's the truth.
No, and just real quick to give the audience a clarification. When I was younger, like here in Chicago, we shoveled the snow, and one day somebody stole some rock salt. So I figured that's the damnedest thing. Why do you want to steal rock? What are you going to go on the open market for rock salt?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can understand you steal a bike or a car or money or something like that. So jewelry.
Absolutely.
No. Hey, man, I got this rock salt, man. Ain't nobody going to step to you at all. And then you get busted for stealing that thing before. I'm sorry.
What if they try to sell? What if they try to sell it? Wait a minute. What if they try to sell it on the L? You already know where I'm going with this. What if they try to sell it on the L and they have to drag it from through the door, from car to car to car, and everybody's looking at this guy going, "What the hell are you doing?"
I got this rock salt, man.
Man, I'm saying, it's like, hey, brother. Hey, let me talk to you for a second. Talk on the shoulder. Hey, bro, let me talk to you for a second, man. Man, what do you want, man? I got this rock salt, man. I got this rock salt, baby. Come on, man. Help a brother out, man.
Rock salt, man. Right. Got it, man.
And I've ridden the L for many, many years, and they sell these guys off the street will try to sell any and everything to you. Doesn't matter if it's stolen, doesn't matter if they picked it up off the ground, doesn't matter. They will try to sell it to you.
But have some dignity. Have some dignity in your thievery. I hate to say it, but
yes,
really. I mean, we've got Sock Man and even Jaws Man and Hat Man and stuff like that. Not rock salt, man. You don't. One of these things is not like the others.
Dignity in your thievery. Oh my god.
Oh yes.
I mean, you got it.
You can't have a thievery conference.
Nope.
Will be once again. They will rape you on site
and not care who's watching.
It's like, okay, what's your name, man? Hey, my name's Rock Salt Man. Rock Salt Man. Rock Salt. Hey, you ain't on the list, Doc. Oh, come on, I got this rock salt, baby, man. Come on, man. They will rape you on site. Hey, come on,
and
man.
Not care who's watching.
Oh my god.
Exactly.
And not care who's watching.
Stealing rock salt. Wow.
Okay. You can't. You look. You can't do that.
Which is where the salt bastard came from, because Chris's reaction was, "What the salt bastard? Who the hell took my salt?"
That's sad.
Oh my gosh.
That's sad. I needed that salt, man. You know, it's like 25 below during that time. I was like 8 years old.
And you got to put the salt down. You gotta put the salt down.
Yes, exactly.
And you don't have any rock salt to put down. See, in that situation, you want to chase them down, but you're like, okay, there's too much ice. And I'm not gonna risk running and falling on my ass in 25 below weather to get some rock salt. I will hop in the car and drive and get some more rock salt and then put it in a secure place so that bastard doesn't get my rock salt again.
Look, he can have it, rat bastard.
Exactly.
He can have it because I'm not going to run at 25 below zero and freeze my nether regions. No,
exactly.
It's not worth it. No,
it's not. It's really not. Hell no. I'm not going to do that. Hell no.
Can't do it.
And given the fact Chris and I are both bald, man, please, I'm not putting on any extra clothes to chase down a salt bastard. You can have the rock salt. I hope you get caught, but if you don't, fine. I'll just go get some more and call it a day.
I didn't want to chase them when I was 8, when I had hair, and when I had my afro.
Same,
dude, man. It wasn't even worth it. Yeah, when you remember you had an afro, and if you went to bed, it ended up looking like the letter D when you woke up because it was all flat on one side.
Oh yes,
flat on one side, full on the other.
Full on the other.
Yeah. Oh man.
Flat on one side, full on the other. Yep. Been there.
Done.
Been there.
Today's Negro is brought to you by the letter D.
This is what you can expect every Friday. Yes, Sports Sesame Street. I love it.
There you go.
We gotta have that every Baseline Friday. They have something that end like that.
I got to work on that. That was off the dome, literally. So I got to work on that material.
I love it. Chris Bass joins us every Friday at the bottom of hour 2. Bass, I love you, brother. Thank you so much. I look forward to having you next Friday.
Oh, man, I love you both. Have a great weekend. Get to have a great show, and I'll see you next week.
Love you too.
Thank you.
Chris. Oh, man. That's awesome. Well, looks like it's just you and me. So it is time for a wholesome family time. Yes, get around, children. I'm about to read you a story on James Harden and his ugly beard.
Wait a minute. Somebody made a thumbnail. I follow a channel on YouTube, TSO Sage. He made a thumbnail where James Harden's face was clear out here, beard and all.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote it back in. I'm like, what? What in the world is that? Hour 3 on the way to talk football. And we're going to start the football discussion here before Mike Debate comes on. And we're presented by Michael Scott Insurance. Michael Scott Insurance, protecting what matters most. Give a call to 810-985-3211. That's 810-985-3211 as we're live, rolling into hour 3 on BS3 TV, Arena Sportsnet, Real Wise Radio, and you can pick up the podcast at any time on Odyssey and iHeartRadio. And speaking of podcasts, there's a new one coming that will drop tonight at 6 p.m. called Speaking Our Truth with Snowman and the Ice Queen, because we've been through some things and we're going to share our stories. We're going to share our truths, and we're going to help heal the world, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing so. Thank you to Deborah Wallace, our publicist, for help putting it out there. You can pick it up. You can pick up on Google Play and all of your favorite podcast carriers. Now, Aaron Rodgers has re-signed with the Green Bay Packers. Whoop-de-freaking-do.
I don't give a yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you want me to, no.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
This dude is full of drama. Full of drama. I mean, he could put soap operas to shame with the drama he engendered.
With what he's done.
And all of this saying, well, get rid of the GM that we have because he sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And and I'm not sure if I'm going to continue onward playing for the Packers. All of that to get what he got, which was a contract extension, and his ego stroked because now he will be, as of Wednesday, officially the highest paid player in the NFL. All of that for that. I mean, and I'm talking about.
I got something better.
I'm talking about the cancel culture crap and the
I got something better.
And the Pat McAfee show appearances crap. All of it.
Mm-hmm. I got something better.
Please.
All of that to lose to the 49ers in the playoffs.
No, I was getting into that
again. I'm sorry. I stole your thunder. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I was going to get to that.
Continue, please, sir.
All of this drama to basically say that you felt as though the Packers didn't show you love because you were on the team that you witnessed yourself on the front end of a legendary quarterback who didn't want to have his time be up and the organization tell him so. Now you are on the Brett Favre end of the situation, and you feel a certain way because you feel your time isn't up. What a shock! All of that. And all of these brilliant stats you put up and the MVPs you have won because you now won them back-to-back years, and you can't sniff a Super Bowl. And I will make my partner happy in saying this. Not only can you not sniff a Super Bowl, but twice you have lost at the hands of the team you rooted for as a child.
4 times.
I mean twice recently.
Oh yeah, but twice recently. Twice recently. And one of those times was in Lambeau Field.
In fact, the most recent time was at Lambeau Field.
I mean, it was set up perfectly. You know, my wife came to me and she said, "How do you feel about this game?" I said, "Look, if we don't win, I'm not going to be upset about it because we were not supposed to get in the playoffs in the first place. And now we're ready to really talk some football. As I'm looking at everything here, Mike Debates, for the first time in a while, joins us via the Michael Scott Insurance video line. Good morning, Mike.
Brian, Cole, always a pleasure, guys. It's been a long time, too long, but definitely glad to be back, and always great to join you guys on a Friday and talk some football. No better way to kick off the weekend.
Mike, it's a pleasure to talk to you again, man.
Missed you, man.
It's been a minute.
Okay,
missed you guys too. Here,
we just got into this. Aaron Rodgers, and I'm going to say this bluntly. Mike loves it. Cole loves it. The folks that watch the show love it. Aaron Rodgers signed a 4-year deal, and as of Wednesday, be the highest paid quarterback to continue to lose to San Francisco in the postseason. What is wrong with this picture?
I've seen that at least around social media, and it's definitely funny. There's no question about it. Look, bottom line, when you look at what this Packers team now does with Aaron, I mean, they're committed. A lot of people feel that maybe this has a year-to-year feel to it, but they're committing their in short-term and immediate future to Aaron Rodgers. Now, what does this mean for Jordan Love? I mean, this is really, I think, in a lot of ways, an indictment on that pick. That's definitely something that is called into question, and you do have to understand that the Packers right now, I mean, they haven't had that type of postseason success that fans would have hoped in that area. I like the losing to San Francisco. That is, unfortunately, is very accurate for Packers fans, but pretty good for you, Brian. I know that. But all kidding aside, I mean, it's a lot to commit to a quarterback on the north side of 35, and Aaron's commitment to football, I think, is on a year-to-year basis at this point. Maybe this is a sign that he is committed to trying to help this team get one more before he retires, but someone like him with the outside interest that he has, to me, there's a lot of risk in this deal.
And in other words,
too much risk. Go ahead.
In other words, Jordan Love as a Packer is screwed.
Very much so.
Yeah,
very much so. He was screwed from the day he was drafted.
What sense did it make to draft him when you would come to this conclusion 2 years later? Why?
It made no sense then. It doesn't make any sense now. And speaking of not making any sense, Russell Wilson is out of Seattle and in Denver. And Mike, I'll pose the question that I posed a moment ago. What's wrong with this picture?
Well, I think what's wrong with this picture is you're taking a look at Russell Wilson now heading to an area where he came from one team that had to rely on him a little bit too much in order to be effective. And now he's going to a team where he's going to have very similar situations. Look, offensive line is such a big part of what these players are able to do. I know the quarterbacks get all the credit. It's a quarterback league, and let's face it. I mean, we do it all the time. Everybody does it. You always are enamored by the man under center, but it's the guys protecting him that are really giving him the time to showcase what he can do. If he gets good blocking and good protection in Denver, I think Denver's offensive line is better than what Seattle had. But at the same time, you also want to make sure you're not falling into the trap of relying too much on Russell Wilson. He's got a pretty good cast around him. Noah Fant going over to Seattle is definitely something that I would keep my eye on. That's a budding young talent at the tight end position. I like Albert Okwuegbunam. I think he can definitely rise to the occasion. Maybe Russell can make him a more effective weapon there, but I think they lose a little bit at the tight end position without Noah. Jerry Jeudy is still a very capable wide receiver. Cortland Sutton, I think, will really, benefit from having someone like Russell Wilson. We saw what Wilson was able to do for Tyler Lockett. And of course, at the end of the day, Melvin Ingram is going to have to be able to carry the ball. You need that balance. And I've covered Melvin during his days as it's almost a San Diego Charger, and you look at what Melvin Gordon can do, running the football. I'm not saying that he's not effective. I think he is effective, but there's a lot of pressure on Russell. And the wild card in all this, Brian and Cole, is that he's going into a new system, new head coach. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Russell to be able to tie this all together and make it work in year one. On paper, this looks like a stacked team. There's a lot of talent on both sides of the ball, but you and I know as well as anyone that it's all about chemistry and coming together. There may be some bumps in the road and some growing pains moving forward before we really see the true definition of what this trade means for the Denver Broncos.
And on the other side of that, Russell Wilson is 33 years old. He ain't Tom Brady.
I would have liked
Russell
to
Wilson
trade.
is 33.
I would have liked to trade more if they were able to, if the Broncos were able to keep Fant, because I think that would have helped Wilson out a lot.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, I mean, having that security blanket that Garoppolo has in Frisco, and I'll get to Frisco in just a moment. Let's go to Indianapolis. Carson Wentz, 1 year in Colts country, gone to Washington. Now, who are the Colts going to rely on under center? Because for the 6th straight year, they're going to have a different signal caller.
Yeah, they are. I mean, and it's the type of inconsistency, especially when you have a signal caller that, or I should say, a head coach that is as dialed in to being a signal caller, to being a quarterback, and to quarterback play as Frank Reich. It's a little disheartening to have to see a lot of the upheaval that the Indianapolis Colts have had at that position, because let's face it, they're very well positioned really all over the field. They get great contributions from their receivers. They have arguably one of the best running back, if not the best running back in the league, in Jonathan Taylor. You look at that defense, and they're fierce in all three levels. It's quarterback play right now that has hindered them the last couple of years. And, no disrespect to Carson Wentz. I just don't think it was the fit that a lot of people thought it was going to be. I think Indianapolis realized that in the final 2 games of the season, where they needed 1 win to get in. And then, unfortunately, it just wasn't possible. They couldn't get the job done. So I think at that point, Chris Ballard, Frank Reich looked at it and said, this is what has to be done. We need to move on. Now, where do they go from here? The name I'm hearing, and I know you're hearing it, Brian, and I know, Cole, you're probably hearing it too, is Jimmy Garoppolo. There's a lot of buzz right now going around that Jimmy may be in crosshairs, may be someone that they're targeting. I like this move. Some people are questioning it. Our good mutual friend, Brian, Tanya Ray Fox, and I had a discussion about this the other day, about Jimmy being a fit in a Frank Reich offense. But at the same time, Jimmy is someone that can come in and really play to the strengths of this team. A strong running game, good solid blocking on the offensive line. He can fit in. He's not the prototypical Frank Reich quarterback, but he can succeed in a Frank Reich system. And I think that's
He
where
can.
the appeal is. So maybe this one has some legs. I know a lot of people are going to be talking about maybe some other names. I've heard Deshaun Watson's name come up. I don't see that. I don't think Houston would trade him within the division.
No.
But, stranger things have happened. At this point, I really wouldn't outrule anything. But the Jimmy Garoppolo thing is something that I hear gains a little more momentum each and every day.
But which brings me to San Francisco. I don't want them to get rid of Garoppolo. Garoppolo's a winner. He's got the offense. He's got the offensive line, which was starting to come together at the end of games. Everybody's going to point to that interception against the Rams and say, "Oh, well, see, that's the reason why you have to get rid of Garoppolo." Okay, riddle me this. How many wins has Jimmy Garoppolo had in his time in San Francisco? I think the magic number is 35. I'll take that over a 4.5, 5 year span.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why the urgency, I should say, to coffee's still kicking in, gentlemen. But even at 10:05, folks, the coffee is still kicking in. But no, I've never understood the sense of urgency when it comes to getting rid of or shipping Jimmy Garoppolo out of town, saying, well, he'll only carry you so far. From where he's carried the San Francisco 49ers so far actually is a pretty good deal. They have, NFC championship games right on the cusp, within an eyelash a couple of years ago of winning a Super Bowl. I agree with you. I think I've seen enough of Jimmy, and I, from my days here in New England, I still have an affinity for the guy. I think he can get the job done. And that's not just me talking through rose-colored glasses or a Foxborough filter. That's just, obvious, observations of what I've seen on the field with this kid. I do think he has the capability of being an effective quarterback, and I like the fit that he has in this Kyle Shanahan system. I know the fan base wants to see Trey Lance. Everybody wants to see what they can get from him. But ultimately, I think it's going to be a situation where John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan have to sit down, have to talk about what the direction is they want to go into. Whether or not they've had these conversations is up for conjecture. I think they probably have. I can't imagine that this subject hasn't come up yet in San Francisco. But at the same time, I share your curiosity. I don't know why the urgency to shed yourself from Jimmy, even if it's to keep him in for the remainder of his contract and then hand the keys over to Trey. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe they want to strike while the iron is hot and get something for him while they can.
We'll see.
It would be a bad move. Go ahead, Cole.
Well, see, and you're absolutely correct, Mike, and so are you, Brian. From a football perspective, it makes no sense at all for the 49ers to part with Garoppolo. However, you have so many who are, sports fans who claim that they are sports fans, claim they are football fans who want to have that shiny new toy to operate, and they see this shiny new toy who hasn't been able to shine yet in their eyes, and you have the toy that they have now that they've grown old and tired of, that doesn't give you the 30 for 40, 300-yard, 4-touchdown, no interception performances, and they want to have the shiny new toy, and they want to get rid of the old one, and because of that, you have this chasm of, well, this is as far as we're going to reach with Garoppolo. When the thing is, you have a team that is built and tailor-made for a quarterback like him. So and you have so many fandom who just don't see that. The team is tailor-made for a guy like him, tailor-made for him. So it would be a big, huge mistake if the 49ers would depart with Garoppolo.
Thank you. And I've been saying that since he arrived. I've been saying that since Super Bowl 54. He's got a couple of Super Bowl wins within him, and they should happen in San Francisco. I know the interest is there from Indianapolis, but if that trade should happen, Quentin Nelson's coming west, DeForest Buckner's coming west, and those are the two key names that I heard. It's a trade that shouldn't happen, but it's there on the table because people have said it. People have talked about it. Let's go to Chicago. As a matter of fact, I'm going to the San Diego Chargers. And yes, I said San Diego Chargers. Khalil Mack is their newest member, which means the Bears have essentially blown it up and they have started the rebuild. and they get nothing in return. Especially, Mike, you and I have talked about this for 4.5 years on the air. Where's the offensive line in Chicago to help out Justin Fields?
Yeah, and I mean, you're looking at a quarterback that's developing right now with all the talent in the world. And I love Justin Fields' fit in Chicago, but if you're not going to be able to protect him with an adequate offensive line, you're running the risk of either getting this kid hurt or really severely limiting this kid's confidence going forward. If he doesn't have the time to make the runs, to do what he needs to do, to be that dynamic presence that we know that he can be, it's going to be a tough couple of years in Chicago trying to get this situation back up and running. And Brian, I know you have an affinity for the Bears, a hometown, team for you and whatnot. And we've talked about the Bears several times. I've made the jokes about the accents and all that. But all kidding aside, folks, I mean, it really is. These are going to be tough times in Chicago. And I know they went for the Mac trade in order to be able to bring themselves back up to prominence. I mean, hindsight being 2020, you're looking at it now and you're saying, well, was it the right move at the time? I guess you really, I don't believe in, hindsight being 2020 and all that. And it's easy to look back on things and say that they're, good ideas and bad ideas. I do it each and every day when I try to defend N'Keal Harry from the New England Patriots Twitter mob. But at the same time, there's a lot that needs to go into that. But for Los Angeles, I mean, this is a no-brainer at this point, guys. Two problems that the Chargers had last year in that defense was stopping the run and generating pressure on the passer. Because they couldn't stop the run, they couldn't dedicate two resources, or at least one main resource, in order to be able to generate pressure on the passer. When you can't stop the run, that allows your opposing offensive lines to be able to zero in on your best target. I saw it in New England last year with Matthew Judon. He became a pass rush freak in the middle part of that season. In the latter part of the season, he was really, really severely limited because teams were not afraid to take on the double team anymore with Christian Barmore, had some leg problems, knee problems, and that allowed teams to be able to double team Judon and contain him. Teams did it with Bosa last year. Joey Bosa was double teamed far too frequently. I think the Chargers saw that. They knew that needed to get better. Bring back the days of Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram on either side, that fearsome pass rush. Khalil Mack, and I say this with every bit of respect for Melvin, who I've had a chance to not only talk to, but also cover in San Diego and Los Angeles. Khalil Mack is an upgrade. I mean, and this is a really you got Derwin James in that safety situation. Los Angeles is still being talked about with J.C. Jackson in the mix, which is a fit that I love there. This Chargers team is definitely going all in. I think they saw the Rams' success last year in their home stadium. They want to prove that this is a two-team town, and they did it in a big way by getting Khalil Mack this week.
And I love the fact that the Chargers did not part with a first-round draft pick in order to get Mack.
Yeah, same, absolutely.
And so to me, to me, the Chargers won the trade just from that aspect alone.
They did. They really did. When you can get a player of the ilk of Khalil Mack, who is a game changer on defense at the defensive end position and being able to rush the passer, when you have that, and he also doesn't get enough credit, I think, for being a solid force in run defense as well. This is a really dynamic player, and now with the motor and the nonstop energy that Joey Bosa brings to the table, with James in the secondary, and if you had a player like Jackson, and even if Jackson right now maybe a little bit too rich for their blood, and they decide to go in a different direction, bring in maybe another capable corner, that's a defense that, obviously Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson and Derek Carr are going to have to play twice a year. That's not a defense I'm lining up to take on anytime soon. This Chargers team is back on the defensive side of the ball, and they know that division is going to be a veritable Royal Rumble this year when it comes to what these four teams can do. Going to be a lot of fun to watch those divisional matchups this year, no question about it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too.
Mike DeBay joining us, and he will join us every Friday to take us through free agency, the draft, and on to the 2022 season. Mike, glad to have you back. Been a pleasure, my friend.
Always an honor. Always a pleasure to join you guys. My pleasure and honor to be here every Friday. Have a great weekend. Thanks for having me stop by, guys. It's a great way to kick off the weekend.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. We miss you.
Miss you guys too, but you got me every Friday, and now you're stuck with me.
Awesome. Good. That's how
Much love,
that's
gentlemen.
how we'll kick off. Thank you, Mike.
Absolutely. Much love, gentlemen. Have a great weekend.
Much love to you, man.
And that's how we'll do it every single Friday, as Mike Debate will join us. And I'll tell you what, man, it should be the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah.
Period. It should be the San Diego Chargers.
I remember when the team was 1 year away from moving, and I was talking to a San Diego native, and I said to her, I said, I really hate saying what I'm about to say to you, but your team is going to leave San Diego County. They're going to go to Los Angeles. I don't want it to happen. I wish it won't happen, but seeing how their family is, the Spanos family is, they have gotten sick of San Diego. They want to move out of it. And she was like, no, this is a San Diego team. And I agree with her. This is a San Diego team. They're going nowhere. I was like, I would love to agree with you. I would love to.
Same.
And then the very next
Spanos.
And the very next winter, he packed up his Mayflower, drove 2 hours up I-5, and ended up being in Los Angeles, where now he is renting to stay across the owner of the Rams.
I mean, it should be the Rams and the Raiders in SoFi Stadium.
Right.
It should be the Rams and the Raiders in SoFi Stadium. San Diego should have a shiny new palace. You know what you do? You bring Allegiant Stadium and all therein down to San Diego.
And that's
how you solve that.
And it's not that San Diegans didn't want to have a new stadium. They actually wanted one. It was just that they wanted it roughly, if I'm not mistaken, they wanted it where the old Jack Murphy was stood. They wanted it there.
Well, that's honor right there.
Yeah.
It needs to be where the old Jack Murphy Stadium is.
But the problem,
it needs to be where Jack Murphy Stadium is.
But the problem came in. The Spanos saw this wonderful stadium in downtown San Diego in Petco Park, and he said, aha, I want a football stadium in downtown San Diego, and if you're not going to give that to me, I'm gone. San Diego County says, no, we're not going to give it to you, and now we see them as the Los Angeles Chargers, which is absolute travesty.
It's a travesty, and it stinks. So does the Oklahoma City Thunder. They should be the Seattle Supersonics.
Yes.
And that's a full episode in and of itself.
Oh, no doubt.
That's a full episode in and of itself. All right. All right. We're getting out of here. Thank you to all the guests that came on today. Cool McCain, Stacy Purcell, Mike Debate, and of course, Chris Basin. You'll have Bass and Mike Debate join us every single Friday. Have a great weekend. God bless. Remember to next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, then what?
They are not big enough.
Exactly. And to you bronze sexuals and went sexuals, have fun this weekend, because we're going to tear you apart again next week.
Out.
We are out of here. See you Monday.